Hello and welcome to hole number 6, choosing the right tournament format. Remember, formats can make or break your participation. Plus, the right format can increase your revenue. So let's take a look at formats and how that can help your event. Several things to consider when putting together the right format. Number one is, what is the purpose for your event? Again, earlier we talked about the different purposes, and there are different formats that function better for different purposes. So keep in mind, remember what you're trying to accomplish. Are you trying to accomplish fundraising? Is it exposure? Is it competition? For example, if you're doing a fundraiser, you're going to want to consider scrambles and modified scrambles and team events. If you're doing entertaining, you might want to consider some best balls, some modified scrambles, maybe some individual events. If you're doing competition, you definitely want to do best ball, or you want to do individual play, net and gross. So keep those in mind when you're determining what the best format is. So one, what's the purpose of your event? And two, what's the caliber of your golfer? The caliber of your golfer is key because different golfers like different formats. So if you're a beginner golfer, you're going to like more of a scramble. If you're a more advanced golfer, you're going to like more of an individual ball play. So keep those in mind. So how do we analyze the caliber of our golfers? Well, many ways to do this. First of all, we need to ask them straight up, do they have a handicap? If golfers have a handicap, which is simply an index that they've received from the USG, that typically means they're a little bit more serious golfer, that they play more often, and they're serious about their golf game. If they do not have a handicap, you may want to ask what their average score is. If you're only playing a few times a year, you're going to have an average score, and you may want to know that when developing that format. Also, are these simply social golfers? Do they just golf once a year, a few times a year in tournaments, or are they a serious competitive golfer? Because if they are, you're going to have to take that into consideration when choosing your format. And then some golfers rarely golf, maybe once a year, and keep that in mind also. But these are key questions that you have to ask yourself when choosing the right format, because formats are going to help your participation. And again, remember, you want more golfers. It's that simple. So choosing the format for some golfers is going to encourage them to play. So if you have beginner golfers, then that scramble is a better format to use. A scramble is a simple format where you get 4 people who get on the tee box, hit their ball one time, and they pick the best ball. The other 3 pick up their ball and then hit it from there. This allows it more of a team event. The beginner golfer doesn't feel as pressured of hitting that ball that good, and the better golfer gets to shine. So a scramble is a good format, especially for beginner golfers. If you've got a little mixture of some better golfers, you may want to consider a modified scramble, which is similar to a scramble, but the difference is you hit the drive off the tee box, you pick the best drive, but then individual golfers play their own ball in the rest of the way. But a modified scramble works good for beginners as well as some advanced players. Match play is very popular, where you're playing obviously per hole, and if one golfer blows up and has too many strokes, he doesn't lose the whole match, but it's per hole competition. Where medal play is more of individual score, which is again more for the advanced golfers. Handicapped events are fun because this way it gives everyone a chance to win. Handicapping is simply a way to level out the playing field, and so if you have handicaps, then the good golfer can compete against the average golfer and vice versa. So handicapping events are very, very good also. So the question is, what's the right format to use for your event? Find out what the purpose is, find out the caliber of golfer, and then you can make the right choice on the format to increase your participation. But now you want to find out what's the best format to use to increase revenue. Some formats generate more revenue than others, so keep that in mind. Here's some formats that generate more revenue than the average scramble event. If you want to generate a lot of revenue, you may want to consider a ProAm. What is a ProAm? A ProAm is simply putting a golf pro in your foursome. You can double or triple your registration fees by putting a pro with your foursome. Amateur golfers love to play with a pro, and they're going to pay you more just to do so. You may want to consider a celebrity event, which is putting a celebrity in your foursome. If it's a well-known celebrity, again, your golfers are going to pay you a little bit more. So it's a great way to increase registration fees by putting a celebrity and or a pro in each foursome. Another format that generates a lot of money is night golf. I love night golf because you can play golf at night. They now make glowing golf balls. Some golfers love this because you don't have to be that good. In fact, what it does is opens up your field to non-golfers because anybody can try night golf, kind of like miniature golf. Anybody can do it, which allows you to get more golfers. So consider that. But if you want to make some big money, you may want to consider a golf-a-thon. This is a format that can generate $100,000 for your organization. And you don't have to get 144 golfers to pay $150 to play. What you do is you get 40 golfers and they don't have to pay anything. What they have to do is go out and get pledges to play in your event. And if they get $25 per hole in pledges and play 100 holes, each golfer is going to raise an average of $2,500. If you get 40 golfers doing it that day, you could potentially raise $100,000 in a one-day golf event. So consider when deciding if revenue is important to you, a golf-a-thon might be a way to go. Think about your formats. If revenue is important, ProAm, celebrities, events, night golf, golf-a-thons. If participation is important, think about Scramble versus best balls. All these things are important when determining the right format to use for your event. But you also got to keep in mind the scoring process. Golfers want to know how to win. So you got to keep the scoring process simple. There's a lot of scoring methods that get complicated, but they also help golfers who are not so good win their tournament. So keep in mind some of these formats that help you score your event, like the Callaway system, the Chicago system, the Schneid system. We won't get into detail on those today, but if you want more information, let us know. But these are ways to keep everybody feeling like they have a chance to win your event. Another popular thing that's popped up recently is real-time scoring. This is an app that golfers can have on their phone and enter their scores while they're playing to find out how the other teams are doing. This is fun because it keeps the competition fierce and they know right where they stand throughout the process of the event. We talked about handicapping. I encourage you to consider that because handicapping levels out the playing fields and allows all types of golfers to have a chance to win. And that's really what you want. You want all golfers to feel like they have a chance to win because if you do that, you're going to get more golfers participating because reality is that your job is to get as many golfers involved as possible and keep them coming back. So if they win something, they're going to come back. So your job to make lots of winners. One of the ways to do that is to set up different flights. Consider flighting your event. Have flight A for the really good golfers, flight B for the average golfers, flight C for the not so good golfers, and then offer first, second, and third in each flight. This allows you to have more winners. It allows more golfers to feel like they have a chance to win, and bottom line, more people coming back year after year. So keep things in mind when you're developing the format. Format's important. Don't take it for granted. Pick the right format to maximize your participation, pick the right format to increase your revenue, and get as many people coming as possible and make as many winners as possible, and you'll have a successful event year after year.